My dear friends, gather round while I tell you a tale about the most remarkable and troublesome piece of machinery ever devised, the human being. Now, you might think I'm about to speak of smartphones or artificial intelligence or some other modern marvel, but no. I'm talking about that wonderfully unreliable instrument that's been causing mischief since the first caveman tried to figure out which end of the fire was the hot one. In the beginning, when the Wright brothers were first convincing their flying contraption to stay up longer than a hiccup, folks were mostly worried about whether the machine would work at all. The main qualification for being a pilot back then was having enough courage to strap yourself to what was essentially a powered kite and enough luck to survive the experience. But as our machines got cleverer and more reliable, something peculiar became apparent. The weakest link in any system wasn't the machinery at all. It was the human operating it. And this wasn't just true in aviation. It's true whether you're performing brain surgery or making a sandwich. Now, some fancy folks in white coats might tell you that human factors is the scientific discipline concerned with the understanding of interactions among humans and other elements of a system. But let me put it in plain English. It's about understanding why capable, well-trained people sometimes do things that make you wonder if their common sense took a vacation. Think of it this way. Human factors is like trying to figure out why a skilled mechanic might forget a step they've done perfectly 1,000 times. How a surgeon could operate on the wrong leg despite years of training. Why your neighbor with 3 advanced degrees still can't program their coffee maker. Human factors refers to the study of human capabilities and limitations. One of the main aims of my videos is to help you recognize human performance limitations in themselves and others, and to be able to avoid, detect, and rectify errors or error-prone behavior and practices. It can be helpful to use a model to aid in the understanding of human factors, or as a framework around which human factors issues can be structured. Clever folks came up with something called the shell model, which is like a recipe for disaster prevention. It looks at software, the written word, instruction manuals that seem to be written in ancient hieroglyphics, procedures that make sense until you actually try to follow them, checklists that everyone swears they'll use but don't, hardware, the physical stuff, tools that require 3 hands to operate when humans stubbornly continue to have only 2. Equipment designed by someone who clearly never had to use it. Machines that beep for no apparent reason. Environment, the world around us. Workplaces lit like a romantic restaurant when you need operating room visibility. Temperatures that make you wonder if you're in a sauna or a meat locker. Noise levels that have you lip-reading your coworkers' instructions. Liveware, the human element. That's you, me, and everyone else trying to navigate this complexity. The most adaptable and yet most unreliable part of any system. The only component that gets cranky when it hasn't had its coffee. As you can see, the model places the person or the human being at the center as they are, the system's most critical and flexible component. The human being is also the least predictable dimension in the model and is highly susceptible to internal, hunger, fatigue, motivation, etc., and external, temperature, light, noise, workload, etc., changes. Now, here's where our tale takes a serious turn, friends. While our machines have gotten more reliable, aircraft or computers hardly ever break down on their own anymore. We humans remain stubbornly imperfect. We can't be upgraded with new software or have our parts replaced when they're wearing out. We get tired, distracted, and sometimes make mistakes that seem incomprehensible in hindsight. But here's the good news. While we can't redesign ourselves, we can. Design our workplaces around our limitations. Create procedures that catch our mistakes before they cause harm. Build systems that make it harder to do the wrong thing. Train ourselves to recognize when we're most likely to err. One must carefully match all components to avoid breakdowns and stress in the system. It is crucial to assess and consider these interactions in all sectors of any system. The Shell model suggests that the human is rarely, if ever, the sole cause of an accident. You might be thinking, well, I'm not maintaining aircraft, so this doesn't apply to me. But let me tell you something. Whether you're performing heart surgery, fixing a car, or just assembling furniture from that Swedish store, the same human limitations apply. The only difference is the cost of the mistake. The principles that keep aircraft in the sky are the same ones that might keep you from putting together that bookcase with crucial bolts left over. The only difference is that one might fall from 30,000 feet and the other from 6 feet. But neither outcome is particularly desirable. Understanding human factors isn't just about avoiding disasters. It's about acknowledging our limitations so we can work around them. It's about creating systems that expect humans to be human, rather than expecting humans to be perfect. Remember, the most dangerous person in any system isn't the one who makes mistakes. We all do that. It's the one who thinks they never will. Subscribe to catch our next exploration of human factors and share your thoughts below. Remember, the only perfect human is the one who's learned to plan for their imperfections. Stay safe and stay conscious, my friends.